Last Wednesday, we had Israel's voice well represented on the show to talk about its war with Hamas, a militant group of Palestinians who are said to be in control of the Gaza Strip and parts of the West Bank. The Deputy Chief of Mission, or Deputy Ambassador of the Israeli Embassy here in Manila, was with us here in the studio, and a former Philippine Ambassador to Israel joined us from Tel Aviv, where she is visiting her son. We then had someone to represent the Palestinian view, Palestinian, not Hamas, Hadje Cresencio Sadje, who's now based in Brussels, Belgium. He was able to visit, inspect, and monitor back in 2011 the West Bank, Gaza, and the areas where Israelis have settled. But he only had 3 minutes to explain his view. For Sadje, Israel occupied Palestinian land. He and the ambassador of the State of Palestine to the Philippines, Ambassador Saleh Mohammad, who was supposed to be with us last week, joins us tonight on the show. Good evening, I'm Pio Ontiveros. Welcome to your weekly political appointment fix, politics as usual. Our guests for tonight, the Ambassador of the State of Palestine to the Philippines, Ambassador Saleh Mohammad, and later on in the show, we'll be joined by an associate member of the Center for Palestinian Studies at the SOAS. We're going to spell that out in just a bit, the University of London, Hadje Cresencio Sadje. But we're going to speak first to the Ambassador. Mr. Ambassador, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us on the show tonight.
Good evening, Bia. Thank you very much for having me in your show.
Well, Mr. Ambassador, let's talk about what you believe is at the root of the problem. I introduced you as the ambassador of the State of Palestine. But if you look at the map, pre-World War II, it said Palestine. Post-World War II, it's Israel. Can you tell us what happened? Why did it change from Palestine to Israel? Just to give a refresher course, very brief refresher history course for viewers.
Yeah, thank you, Bia. Actually, in 1917 until 2nd of November, we were under the British mandate, and on that date, Lord Arthur Balfour declared a promise for the Jews, to promising them a homeland in Palestine. So he ordained a land of they don't owe to people. They don't owe that land. Mm-hmm. They came along with the British colonial to Palestine. We received them as refugees until 1948. Between 1917 till 1948, they had a hidden agenda with the support and military support of the British government. They launched attacks on the Palestinian civilians then, and declared the State of Israel on 78% of historical Palestine. Before that, actually, they were refugees running away from Europe because of the anti-Semitism, feelings and the Holocaust they have been subjected to. So we became immediately, we are paying the price for the European victims, particularly the German victims, and taken also by the British government then.
And that's why, Mr. Ambassador, it was known as
1948.
And that's why, Mr. Ambassador, it was known
as war 1967, and also they completed the occupation of the whole Palestine, historical Palestine. Our people who could remain there are still there, where you see them now in Gaza Strip and West Bank and East Jerusalem. Gaza Strip is composed of 2.3 million people. Almost 70% of them are refugees from the land known now 1948 land. They were deprived from their homes, villages, and cities to Gaza Strip. Some of the Palestinians fled because we were armless. Actually, we were fought by the British army also alongside with the Zionist gangs,
Mr. Ambassador,
which later became the official Israeli army. So some of us, like my family, moved from my native town, Haifa, to the northern city of what is called now West Bank. And then we had to leave again under military threat and war to Jordan. I am a resident in Jordan, but later when the modern Palestinian revolution led by PLO, 1965 and Al-Fatah movement, we came to a consensus, to an understanding on peace of principles between us and Israel, sponsored by international community, international power. That's called Oslo Agreement. It was signed on 13 September 1993, 30 years ago, in the front or the backyard of the White House, with the president of all presidents, including President Clinton, then of the United States of America. That interim period agreement should have only kept us and the Israelis as an interim period for 5 years, and will lead automatically to the birth of a viable independent state of Palestine in the land occupied in 1967. That is Gaza Strip, West Bank, and East Jerusalem.
Mr. Ambassador,
Israel continued denial. Israel as the occupation power continued denial of the implementation of all signed agreements, all international legitimacy decisions on Palestine. Till today, we still have this problem persisting. If Israel implemented Oslo Agreement in 1993, 5 years interim period, it means 1998. We would be having now a 25 years of full independent state.
Mr. Ambassador. Yes. Mr. Ambassador, what
we would be building bridges instead of launching wars and building walls.
All right, building bridges.
Of the successive of governments of Israel.
Building bridges, building bridges,
the continuation of Israel occupation. Occupation, as it is well known, the ugliest thing on earth. We are still, unfortunately, the last nation who are still under occupation. And
all right, Mr. Ambassador.
Out of all this, yes, please.
Yes, Mr. Ambassador, earlier you were saying the British, and that is why in the early 1900s, Palestine was known as British-ruled mandatory Palestine. So Palestine, and then if you look at the map, then it became Israel. Like you said earlier, they were supposed to occupy only certain portions, but now you're saying that this is an occupation by Israel. However, if you talk to them, they will say that this is their promised land.
Yeah, no. Who promised this land for them? Who has the power to promise that? Is God? Do you think God is working as a state agent for Israel? Is that God? He could have made them a land of their own away from our homeland. This is not God. This is their sick belief, actually. Unfortunately, I'm saying that. This is sick belief. If God will deprive us, will ask us to move out of our land and give it to another people. Why?
Yeah. Are you saying, Mr. Ambassador, that Israelis are occupying your land?
Definitely. It is an occupation. This is the ugliest face of civilization.
All right.
Occupation is the root of every problem. That's why we are having war again and again, because Israel is refusing to implement, to withdraw.
All right.
Withdraw.
Ambassador Saleh Mohammad.
Borders.
Ambassador, we're going to come back. We just need to take a very quick break. Please stay tuned, everyone. Welcome back. This is Politics as Usual. Still with us, the Ambassador of the State of Palestine to the Philippines, Saleh Mohammad. Mr. Ambassador, we talk about Hamas as separate and distinct. Is that correct? From the Palestinian Authority and even from the Palestine Liberation Organization, or PLO? In other words, these are two different entities.
Hamas is not a member of PLO, actually. Hamas is an independent organization with religious beliefs, who believe that that if Israel is denying any political solution, they have the right to liberate Palestine through military means.
Military means or violence.
They are not part of PLO, but they are
Right.
Palestinians. They are controlling Gaza Strip. Literally, they are controlling Gaza Strip.
In other words, we cannot say yes. In other words,
they are Palestinians.
Yes. In other words, we cannot say that Hamas represents all of Palestinians. No, I'm correct, right, sir?
No, they cannot. No, they
all.
don't represent all the Palestinians.
Okay. Mr. Ambassador,
Palestinians. Yes, please.
How could Hamas have penetrated Israel's defense that first weekend? I mean, they must be very good, because the entire world had the impression that Israel had a very solid defense shield around it. How could Hamas have penetrated it?
You know, yeah, this question should be addressed to the Israeli government. Actually, they always brag that they have the most sophisticated, the best radars, the best detection, you know, and they couldn't detect their cameras, their radars couldn't, you know, detect 1,500 militants from Gaza Strip to Israel. This is actually, you know,
a big question.
Not, a military, you know, expert, but this is my belief.
Yes,
you know,
well, it is a question.
Today, Pia, like, I don't know whether you're going to mention the massacre happened in Gaza by the Evangelical Hospital. More than 300 Palestinian innocent children and women were killed. Right now, Israeli military spokesman said that according to their own radars, and they have the more modern radars, that they detected that this missile being shooted by the jihad, Islamic Jihad, and it did not actually, it failed its targets. And they were bragging that they have best radars. They couldn't even detect 1,500 militants. So what is this? And I can't understand it. I can't understand it, really.
Yes, I'm glad you brought that up about the hospital, Mr. Ambassador. I was about to ask that. But let's go to the next question because we don't have much time. Why do you think Israel ordered civilians to leave northern Gaza and flee to southern Gaza? You know, I know you're going to say maybe we should ask Israel, but, you know, can we hazard a guess? You know, after bombing northern Gaza, after launching an attack on northern Gaza, what do you think Israel will do with northern Gaza?
Can you, let's be fair enough. Can you rephrase the question? Why Gaza Strip is just a very small, tiny piece of land?
Yes.
And all the settlements around Gaza, or they call it the Gaza buffer zone, safe security zone, is a Palestinian confiscated land. Why Gaza? Why Palestinians in Gaza should flee to the north or to the south? You know, this is the question. Why it's only the right of Israelis to go to be settled and having security? Does Palestinian life matters or not? Are we second-class citizens? We are against all, you know, the killing of all civilians. Our lives is not lesser than the Israeli lives. All civilian life matters. So the question is this: Israel occupying power, they should withdraw. They don't have any more problem with us if they withdraw from our occupied land. Don't ask me to say that Israel has the right to. You know, why they should flee, or, you know, no, this is not the right question at this time.
Yeah, oh no, Mr. Ambassador, my question.
Getting massacred in Gaza.
No, Mr. Ambassador, my question was, why do you think Israel is asking people in northern Gaza to leave? What is their objective? What do they want to do? That was my question.
Their objective, they don't want any Palestinian person in Gaza Strip.
Okay, so they want to occupy
out of Gaza to Egypt. They want to export through their own problem. We are their own problem. We are problems to Israel. They want to throw us to Egyptians. They want to make us the Egyptians' problem. They don't want to solve the problem.
Yes.
They don't want to withdraw.
And when
this is a second mass exodus.
Yes.
You know,
and if
happening to the Palestinian people, taking it, you know, step by step. But we are not leaving. No way we are leaving out of Gaza or out of West Bank or out of East Jerusalem.
Because,
you know, no more
Mr. Ambassador.
No more mass exodus.
Mr. Ambassador, because if you do leave, what will Israel do? Are they going to go into Northern Gaza? Is that what they're going to do? Are they also going to occupy Northern Gaza?
They will be having good time.
Good time. Okay.
What they will do? They will get rid of us, of course.
Okay, Mr. Ambassador, my last question to you: what does the State of Palestine, or what has the State of Palestine wanted all these years? We've heard of this two-state solution. There should be an Palestinian land, there should be Israeli land. You wanted to live, you know, you can live side by side in peace. Is that what you wanted?
The problem is not within us, Pierre. It's the public should be aware that we have agreed, we have recognized the right of Israel to exist and to live peacefully alongside with us. The two-state solution actually indicates very clearly that two-state solution, one state for already existing Israel, and the second state to be born for the Palestinian state includes Gaza Strip, West Bank, including East Jerusalem as its capital. Without this, there will be no peace, of course. The problem that occupation we cannot accept to live under occupation for the rest of our lives. This is 75 continuous years of occupation. The world should shoulder its responsibility, and instead of expressing their understanding and their support to Israel, to try to defend itself and visiting Israel at this moment, they are partnering Israel in the crime. Look at the massacre we're having now in Gaza. This genocide can be justified as a self-defense. This is a question, and they don't want you as media people to make our voice to carry our voice to the public. They just want you to switch the light and leave us in darkness talking to ourselves. So I appeal to you to be impartial, to stand in the right side, to practice your own humanity as a human being, to hold Israel accountable and responsible for the continued grave situation, for not leaving Palestine, for not withdrawing from Palestine. The day they withdraw, the day we have our independent states, peace is there. Peace cannot be achieved without this. Peace cannot be realized without this. Security is for all, not only for Israel. They cannot only bypass us and go normalize with any Arab country. They don't have any problem with Arab countries. Their problem with us. They want peace. They should make peace with us. Give us what we exactly deserve, what we have signed for, and our people, will not fight them anymore. We'll live in peace side by side with them.
Mr. Ambassador, that is why we invited you to the show tonight. And we thank you very much for speaking to us tonight about what you believe is 75 years of occupation by Israel. Our Ambassador Saleh Mohammad of the State of Palestine, Ambassador to the Philippines. Sir, thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Cuba, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Our next guest is Hadje Cresencio Sadje, an associate member of the School of Oriental and African Studies did I say that right? Parang mali. Hindi. Kanina sabi ni Saji. Ikaw na lang, Saji. The Center for Palestinian Studies at the University of London, but you're now based in Brussels, in Belgium, and you were with us last week, Saji. So we're going to try and do what we failed to do last week dahil naubusan tayo ng oras. Talaga naman, no, pag Israel and Palestine, either side cannot stop talking. So anyway, Saji, I'm going to try and do this as quickly as possible. So I remember asking you last week, Palestine before, Israel now. The ambassador of Palestine explained it very well, the entire history. You went on a fact-finding mission and you discovered certain things about the checkpoints, the villages, because Israel controls who and what enters and exits Gaza. Is that correct, Saji?
Yes, yes, Mamia. Yes, 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 exactly. That's actually what we see and what we observe during our 3 months observation and immersions in the West Bank area, including in Gaza Strip.
Okay. And the checkpoints, I understand, like you said, at the time, no, 2011, the last 2 months of 2011, it would take several hours for anyone to get out of Gaza.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And last time, I still remember that there's a case that a pregnant woman was actually died waiting for the queue to because she's asking for because in West Bank they don't have good facilities for hospitals in Bethlehem, particularly in Bethlehem. So they traveled and trying to cross at the Bethlehem. They call it Bethlehem checkpoint, but we call it Bethlehem 300 checkpoint. It's a military checkpoint. It's not a civilian, simply civilian checkpoint. It was highly controlled by Israeli soldiers, and yeah, she was died during the waiting at the queue. For Israeli soldiers to admit or to let her to pass the military checkpoints. And these military checkpoints, it's very sophisticated, Pia. Of course, it depends on the checkpoint and place and locations. But in Bethlehem 300 or checkpoint, you have 3 stages of checking your identity. The first one is your identity, and then the second one, you need to scan your hands, your fingers, and then the last stage would be, the Israeli soldier will ask you why you want to go to the Jerusalem or to, travel
Hadje.
from Bethlehem to Jerusalem. So it's very, very sophisticated and very,
very difficult to get in other words. Anyway, Hadje, okay. Medyo naubusan na tayo ng oras. Talagang kulang talaga oras pag-usapan ito lahat. But let's try. All right. There's that wall, although some people would describe it just as a fence. But it's interesting, and I need you to explain.
It was proven by Human Rights Watch.
Sandali lang. In 30 seconds, I want you to explain why you say that you call this the apartheid wall.
It's an apartheid wall because you need to prove that you have, they have different policies, and systems imposed toward Palestinians, to pass this wall. It's not simply a fence, but it's a military, sophisticated checkpoint or wall. So, I mean, kahit sino hindi pwede magano, especially Palestinians. You need to prove that you have a very good reason why you need to travel out from the West Bank.
Okay.
And imagine this is a Palestinian territory built by Israeli authorities within Palestinian territory.
Okay. Hadje, itong merong mga Jewish settlements, hindi ba, sa West Bank? Pero it's just confusing. If the West Bank and the Gaza Strip or Gaza was meant for Palestinians, why then are there Jewish settlements within those areas?
Actually, that's a very good question, Pia. That actually the questions of international community, even human rights activists, rights groups, even me as people who want to observe and see why they keep building illegal settlements inside the Palestinian territory. And note, this is illegal under international law. Okay? Unfortunately, these illegal settlements build, in the agricultural land of Palestinians, and they poison the sewage goes to the Palestinian villages. Imagine that.
Okay.
So actually, that's a very good question toward Israel, or State of Israel.
Hadje, my final question would be this. So given this latest stage of the conflict, I mean, it's been going on. It's almost like, and I hate to say it this way, it's like, sanay na tayo. We're so used to hearing news like this.
Yes.
It is unusual that there is going to be peace in the area. But what is the end goal here? there was supposed to have been the two-state solution. There should have been peace. You know, everybody wants peace, no? But there's none. Ano ba yung end goal ng Israel?
Yeah.
What you know, if you would hazard a guess?
May 15 na naman ako sa minuto sa oras eh. Una, walang peace, sabi nga ni Ambassador, as long the State of Israel is not willing to stop and dismantle their illegal settlements within Palestinian territories. Okay? Second, bakit napaka-cold ng global community to respond on this publicly committing this crime against Palestinians by the State of Israel? First, you have three reasons. No, of course, we are already indoctrinated that Palestinian equate to Islamophobia or Muslim. No, that's why when even Filipinos, when they respond to this case of Israel-Palestinian conflict, they said, it's because these Muslims are radical, barbaric, something like that. So, second, you have this software, no? Yung isa pang software ideology na most of the Christians supported Israel. Okay, that is their part of their doctrinal theological orientations in many evangelical conservative Christian communities. Second, Pia, alam naman natin lahat, ang Israel ay nag-import ng sabi nga nila sa latest report, Israel makes Palestinian and Gaza as their laboratory to show and to demonstrate their weapons. No, nag-i-export na sila ng mga weapons. Then alam naman natin lahat that when we have war, may mga kumikita diyan.
All right. Hadje,
at lastly, yung geopolitics interest ng US at ng Western powers sa Middle East na ginagamit nila ang Israel as ally.
Well, like I said, not enough time really to discuss this decades-long crisis that has just deepened even more. Hadje Saji, thank you very much for being with us tonight. Maraming salamat sa iyo. We've been told before, don't talk politics at the dinner table or the family reunion or in Viber groups and risk warfare, digital or otherwise. But we can talk about it here at this table on this show, your weekly political appointment fix, politics as usual. I'm Pia Ontiveros. See you back here next Wednesday, 8 p.m.